We're continuing with the same example from the previous video. I have reset the health level to 75. And what we're going to do now is we are going to add more conditions in the middle, after if, but above else. So I'm going to paste what we had before. And this is tricky to do in the console, which is why I recommend that you work with if then else in Replit. So I need to hold the shift key and press return to add these new statements. All right, so I am going to add an else if. So this allows us to add a bunch of statements in the middle. So else if, right? And then I'm going to have this and a new condition. So what is my condition going to be? What am I going to test for if it's true or false? I'm going to say if health level is greater than 80. And I will console log that you're still healthy. All right, and I'm going to put in one more else if. So we can have as many else if statements as we want. We could have tons, we could have hundreds. But the first thing has to be if, as you see. The last thing, if you're going to have a lot of statements, you should have a final else. But everything in between, as many as you want, those are going to be else if statements. So like this, right? So what are we going to test for this time? We're going to say if health level is greater than 0. Okay, and put in a console log. Okay, so I've set up a series of 4 statements, and they progress from the most health down to, okay, you've lost some health, but you're still okay, down to kind of a shortcut. I would probably have more in here, but anything greater than 0 is going to get the following message. And what is else? In that case, 0 or less. So if your health is 0 or less, you're not going to say this anymore. What you really want to say is probably you have died, right? Because if your health in a game is 0 or less, you're done for. So remember our health level is 75, so think for a minute which one of these is going to be printed. I press return, and you should have guessed that. You probably did. So that you can actually understand if statements, if else, how they work really well, you have to play with them. And I've given you 2 examples that you can play with, but you can also, of course, you should also write your own. If you don't write your own if statements and put in conditions that make sense to you, you're not going to learn how to do these correctly or well, and they'll give you trouble forever. You have to kind of mess around with them. So this is one example, and this is another example. In a separate video, I'll show you how to find Replit and log in, and here are the URLs for both of these examples, which you can use yourself.